we don't know what to expect, which, to be honest with you, it's where we want to be. The French unsung hero is a very underrated player from where I stand. People don't talk enough about how great he is on the left side, and he's a two-way player, right? Defensively, gets his chance on game one, which I think is where he might get a chance against Australia. If he plays that one well, he could stick in it because he's already played with the French national team. He had a stellar season last year at Marseille, and
the French national team, where to begin? From organ harvesting to blackmail to witch doctors to Adrien Rabiot's mother, there is always a twist in the works whenever Les Bleus get close to a tournament. The holders head into this tournament as one of the favourites and with expectations rising. In a group with Australia, Denmark and Tunisia, will it be plain sailing or will it all capsize and have Pogba and co dancing on the wreck? To talk all things France with me is Jeremy Magan, French football enthusiast and expert and host of Ligue 1 podcast for Breaking the Lines. Jeremy, welcome to the show.
Hey, Rory, thanks for having me. What an intro. We try and forget what happened outside of the pitch, but thank you for reminding me.
Well, honestly, it's a pleasure. Just keeping up with the constant soap opera that is the French national team keeps me entertained. How is it to be invested and have to keep up with these stories?
Very honestly, we try to not pay attention to it because otherwise you get caught in it. And what do you do every day? There's something different, whether it's through Paris Saint-Germain when it comes to Mbappe or through everything else. I mean, you got Benzema getting a Ballon d'Or and you can't celebrate because you got to remember that a year ago he was charged for blackmailing one of his teammates. You can't really be happy about whatever happened. So we hope that the noise disappears as we get very close to the World Cup, but we also know that whatever happens, there's going to be a little bit of an asterisk next to any of our successes in the next 2-3 years. Hopefully, after that, we can put it behind us.
Yeah, it does feel like a particularly kind of tumultuous squad at the moment. I thought the Evra, Thierry Henry era when it all exploded on that bus was kind of the peak, but it feels like it is maybe not getting worse, but at least maintaining the same level, right? What do you think it is, just quickly, about the players or the French national team that encourages these kind of scandals? What do you think it is?
There is a genuine fear that Nice now, which is the city in South Africa where that happened, the famous blowout and the bus, etc. Nice now became a word in the French language because of how terrible that was. It's a genuine fear that it would happen again there. I mean, they're almost happy that it's in Qatar because they don't have as much freedom as they would have in any other country. So maybe they're going to behave a little bit. As far as why this happened, I think, football is a crazy world. France is a crazy country. There's passions are plenty. There's a lot of talent and some players that maybe raise to fame too quickly. Some players that are resting on the fame that they got by winning the World Cup and I guess had a hard time digesting it. A lot happened since that 2018 World Cup success. A lot happened since the 2021 Nations League success. And I think some players kind of like lost it halfway there. We'll talk about it, but I'm pretty happy that we have a coach who doesn't forget that what matters is you got to be good in that green square, and hopefully he picks the right player for it.
Nice. Well, let's talk about France's journey to Qatar. How comfortable was it? How uncomfortable was it? How are people feeling after the qualification campaign?
Super comfortable on paper. Undefeated, 8 games, 3 goals conceded only, 18 goals scored. Not that pretty when it came to the actual football. It was, it's Ukraine, Finland, Bosnia and Herzegovina and Kazakhstan in our group. So there wasn't any real strong teams. There was a feeling of France was never going into second gear to be able to win those games. And then the Euro comes, and I think there was maybe two games left after that, 4 games left after that, I should say. And when the Euro comes and we don't perform as well as we should, there's a bit of a fear. The next 2 games, we draw them. There's a chance for a second that we might finish behind Ukraine. And then that National League came, and that Nations League actually gave a boost to the national team, 4 or 5 games. Winning the Nations League and beating, teams like Italy and Spain was really, was it before Spain? I mean, Spain in final, I can't remember who within semis, was a boost for France. And then after that, they win the last couple of games in the group and they finished top of the group. So there was a general feelings of, all right, we've done the job. We're not supposed to play that well in qualifiers anyway. We just need to be ready to be there when it matters. But then that international window, I guess the last 2 or 3 with the other Nations League games that I played at the worst of time, just at the end of the season, and also at the beginning of the next, just didn't go well for us. We didn't play well. We didn't play well as a team. We didn't play well individually. Our best players underperformed. The player that we didn't expect did okay. The players that had really a chance to take completely missed it. And I'm thinking about Kamavinga, for example, or even Saliba. And so we are a bit of we don't know what to expect, which, to be honest with you, it's where we want to be, the French. We don't want to be seen as the outright, winner. Everybody knows that you're going to win, because that's when we really, really disappoint everybody. It's when we crash. So we're kind of happy that we're in that weird moment where we know we have the talent. People are not just playing well together in the last few games, because we hope that Deschamps is going to be able to channel that energy to say, hey, see, everybody is kind of like mocking you and no one's expecting you to actually perform because you've been so bad in the last few games. This is now. So hopefully it comes to fruition.
Nice. Well, let's talk about the man in charge, Didier Deschamps. What style of football can we expect from him? Has he changed anything? There are quite a few young players coming through, like you've talked about, Kamavinga, William Saliba, who, as an Arsenal fan, I am absolutely in love with. How is he managing these players? Is he starting to introduce them? Is he changing his style?
I don't think he's going to change his style. Didier Deschamps is a pretty stubborn kind of manager, and he's a winner. Everywhere he's won as a player, as a coach, whether it was at Juventus, Monaco, Marseille, and then the French national team. Wherever he's been, he found the formula to win. The only issue that I see for Didier Deschamps is he's used to have his 2, 3, 4 weeks before a big tournament to put the team together, to really drill the message in. And he's not going to have that this year, obviously, because it's 10 days before the World Cup starts. So that's all I'm scared of, because outside of that, and a lot of French fans, I think, share my sentiment, we're so comfortable and so confident in what Deschamps can do. It might not be pretty football. It might be very defensive and just playing in the counter-attack. It might not be utterly dominant, but he'll just be playing on individual talent, Mbappe, Griezmann, Benzema, of course. But he's going to make sure that they know they're there to do a job, and the job is to win, and they're not going to be happy unless they win. And he's got that winning mentality that is very good at passing to the players. So we are pretty confident that he's going to be able to do it, because he's done it everywhere. If it doesn't, it'll be obviously a huge disappointment.
Very nice. Yeah, I feel like it felt like there was a period when Deschamps' job felt a little bit in danger, maybe post Euros, where people thought maybe he wasn't going to stick around a bit longer. But it feels like he's really got the confidence of the fans and the FA at the moment, right?
Well, he's like the prodigal son of the FA, like the guy who's in charge of the FA, who's in the middle of all those scandals, loves Deschamps. So I think people were trying to, maybe make Deschamps a bit more fragile, to make the guy at the top of the FA fragile as well. And when we all kind of know who the next team manager is going to be. Zidane is just waiting for his turn to do it. So since a year and a half, he's been breathing down his neck. So everybody's trying to push to see Zidane actually being the French team manager. So it's also hard for Deschamps, but I think he's had a very, good and calm attitude, and he's very much like comfortable and confident in himself as well. I know I'm going to win. You can say whatever you want. I'm just worried about what happens on the pitch, and that's all I work for. So hopefully, like I said, hopefully this translates well. But we have that genuine confidence that wherever he goes, he wins, and he knows how to get his team together. So hopefully 2022 is no different.
Very nice. Good. Now, we'll be familiar with a lot of the names in the squad, the Pogbas, the Mbappes, etc. But who are the players that we should be looking out for? Who are the players that people who maybe don't watch Ligue 1, who are the players that they could be surprised by this tournament?
Players that we know, but that will play, I think, a bigger role this World Cup. Aurélien Tchouaméni, just because, Kanté is not going to be here. Pogba is almost certainly not going to be here. We never know. There could be if he goes to the right witch doctor, he might get healed just in time. But either or aren't going to be here. So now, for sudden, we have to see a new midfielder. I think Aurélien Tchouaméni will nicely slot in there, potentially near Rabiot, who's having a good start of the season with Juventus. And then another player that I think will make a difference because he's been so good the past few seasons is Theo Hernandez. As a left back, I think he's an unsung hero. He's a very underrated player from where I stand. People don't talk enough about how great he is on the left side, and he's a two-way player, right? Defensively and offensively. I mean, you're in Milan, you'd know. He's fantastic. So I think those are the players that are going to probably be the surprises. Deschamps is not a team manager who will launch a youngster that just had 5 good games in Liga. Deschamps, if you want to play in the French national team, you almost have to play in Champions League because otherwise he doesn't believe that you're going to be good enough for the French national team, and you have to have played in the French national team before. He's got those weird, kinks because he knows how to build a group that you want to do it that way. So much so that, for example, we don't know if Lloris is going to be injured or not because he's been fragile. Maignan is not going to be available, and they are the 2 best goalkeepers that we have. Well, instead of going to, a Brice Bamba, who's been amazing with Lens, or to bring another goalkeeper that is, because in France, there's goalkeepers are plenty, I wouldn't be surprised if he calls back a Mandanda just because he knows him. Doesn't matter that he's 37 years old. He knows what he does. The guy knows the rest of the team, and he'll privilege people knowing each other and the group rather than the talent. And so don't expect a youngster coming out of the woods. It'll be players that we all know. I think the 2 that are going to be the most important and maybe that we don't expect, of course, besides Benzema, Griezmann, and Mbappe, will be Tchouaméni and Theo Hernandez.
Very nice. I was really hoping you were going to say William Saliba. I really hope he gets his chance, but I don't think he's going to be starting. He might not. Is he going to make the squad? He should make the squad, right?
He should make the squad. The defense is also something that, with Varane's injury, might be up in the air. And if Saliba gets his chance on game 1, which I think is where he might get a chance against Australia, if he plays that one well, he could stick in it because he's already played with the French national team. He had a stellar season last year at Marseille, and now he's great with Arsenal as well. And Deschamps has seen that. So he has, a few of the boxes are ticked, great club, Champions League, etc. So he could get in there, and, Kimpembe is not 100% loved. Koundé hasn't performed very well in France. Upamecano, same thing. So it's a bit of a gray area, this central defense. It was supposed to be Varane, Kimpembe. Now Varane's out of the picture. It looks like he'll be Koundé, Kimpembe, but Saliba might be just behind.
Fingers crossed for William Saliba. I really am absolutely in love with him. Good. And one of the last questions before we get to your predictions is, what would be, maybe it's an obvious answer, but what would be a successful tournament for France?
It's got to be a win. Anything less than a win will be seen as, we could have done better. Let's call it the final. Making it to the final will be successful. If they don't make it to the final, for it to be called successful, it would have had to be, facing a Messi out of this world in semi-final or something like that. But the expectations are high, regardless of what happened before, because we know that France is one way or the other, right? It's either they're going to go until the end or they're going to crash game 1. And so we know that if we go through the groups, then we should be able to go until the end. So the expectations are high. The talent is there. There's so much talent in this squad at any age. So if Deschamps can't bring them to the final, he'll be labeled as a coach who eventually failed, and he doesn't want that.
Wow, nice. So that pressure is still there. That pressure is still there in the background somewhere. It's still there. Very nice. Okay, Jeremy, so we're going to go for your predictions for the tournament. So bold predictions. Let's do it. Which team do you think will be lifting the trophy come late November, late December, the final? Who's going to lift the trophy?
December. I'm trying to not be all arrogant and all about my country, but I'll still go for France for the winner.
Okay, very nice. I like the confidence. You're the first person we've had that's backed their own country, so I like that.
My own.
Who do you think will be the top scorer of the tournament? Who will get the golden boot?
It was a tough one. I tried to think about it, and I don't want to say Mbappe. I'm going to back Lionel Messi.
Nice. I think we can see him in France. He's really preparing for this tournament. He seems like he's really ready for it, right?
Yeah, and I don't know who else can bring goals in Argentina up front, because everyone else is a bit of in so-so form. Lautaro Martinez, Dybala is out of the picture. So yeah, maybe it's going to be his time.
Nice, I like it. Which player do you think will be the player of the tournament? This is a difficult one, but
yeah, I I'll go back home and I'll give it to Benzema. He's got nice pressure on his shoulder. He hasn't won anything with France. He wants to win something with France. And if France is to win, we have to have a Benzema out of this world. So I was hesitating between Benzema and Griezmann. I mean, of course, if I say that France is going to win, one of the best players should be in the French national team. But I think it might be Benzema. He needs to back up his Ballon d'Or, and he kind of wants to prove to everyone that the Ballon d'Or was not given to him just because Messi and Ronaldo weren't in the picture anymore. So hopefully he does it, but I think he's got high expectations for himself for that World Cup.
Very nice. Okay, just the last two. Which team do you think is the dark horse of the tournament? Which team's going to surprise people the most?
I'm going to go with the dark horse of the Euro last year. I'm going to go with Denmark. Of course, there's a great story about Eriksen and what happened last year at the Euro, but they just have talent all over the pitch, and they've shown that they're a great unit together. I wouldn't even be surprised if they finish, top of the group in front of France in that group with Tunisia and Australia, because I know that France sometimes has a hard time in their groups. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Denmark causing a few upset and making it to the semifinals.
Very nice. And finally, with your head, not your heart, where will France get in this tournament?
At least the semifinals.
Very nice. I like it. I like it. There we go. Okay, Jeremy. Well, thank you. I really enjoyed that. Best of luck to France in the tournament, of course, unless they play England. And if our viewers or listeners want to hear your stuff, find you online, where can they find you?
Yeah, Jeremy_Magan is the Twitter handle, and Castellini Breaking the Lines. I'm on there. If you want to hear a bit of Australian football, I'm on a pod called Front Page Football, and I try to write a couple of stuff here and there. But yeah, if you want to hear about the French football, just come and have a chat with me. Ask me questions. I'm all happy to answer. Otherwise, the Castellini podcast is where it's at.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jeremy. I really enjoyed that, and we will get you back on to talk about France during the tournament.
Thanks for having me, Rory.